So I just got back from a class. I wanted to share this video onto the BJ Fogg Tiny Habits BMAP model. Behavior equals motivation, the ability and the prompt. The motivation from low to high. The ability from hard to easy. That could be skill, learn a language, play an instrument, get stronger, get faster, etc. We got the action line, and we want to be above the action line on the model for success. Motivation is the M, ability is the A, and the P is the prompt, and we want to be above the action line. The more motivation we've got, the easier it is to do the new habit, the new skill, then the more chances of success. So tonight's class, I spoke to somebody who set their goal for 10,000 steps in the month of August. 1st of August, motivation was, this is his words, 10. So 1 low, 10 high. Motivation was high to do it. The ability to do it was a 2. So it was fairly easy. 1 was 0. And then across the bottom was 10. And this is the failure spot. Hard, low motivation, or hard and high motivation, less chance of success. So it was a 2 for easy, and it was because he was highly motivated, because he was in a WhatsApp group with 2 others. So his accountability was really high on getting the steps in. So day 1 of August, he did his goal of 10,000 steps. Great, tick. Day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5 managed the 10,000 steps. Hats off and well done, which is really good. And then he went on holiday for a couple of weeks. Holiday took its toll, and then he got back, and then he couldn't get back onto the 10,000 steps with a week to go to the end of his goal period, which was the end of August. So I'm questioning him tonight and prodding and digging deep to make a point and an insight of the model. He's back on track, so he's recocked, he's re-got going. So motivation is back up to high from low, going into the month of September, which we are now. We are on the 11th of September at the time of this recording, 2024. And he's found it easy to do because he's back on track. He's got the motivation to do it high, and he's got back to the accountability. So what was the change? The change was on the back of last week's session, which was energy balance and goal setting. We looked at the SMARTER principle: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. He then used that framework of the SMARTER principles, and then he implemented, so he lowered the expectations as he tried to get his motivation to get back on track. Now the holidays are over, and he then set a goal of 7,000 steps, which he's done for the last 5 days. He set the goal of 7,000 steps for a day or 2, did 7,000, and then what happened was he sort of did 15,000 day 3, 15,000 day 4, and then 15,000 day 6. So what he'd gone from 10,000 step goal initially, and then my panic was he's now got cocky, he's got the ego has kicked in, which we've all got, and now he's then gone the other way because this is what happens with the body as we do set the goal and it's too easy, or we get going, then we get carried away, and that sort of leads to burnout, failure, because it's not sustainable, unrealistic, life gets in the way, etc., etc. And it becomes harder to get back on track. So, however, the good thing about the guy I'm talking about is his awareness is really good, because I then went, okay, that's great, well done. Don't worry about, you've come off track, you're back on track, and you've set a realistic now expectation as things are getting back to normal, the holidays are over, etc. But then he's got carried away, so I then stimulated and challenged him on this. And then, no, that was just sort of a couple of one-offs, because the tendency is, as we get carried away, you do 15,000, there'll be 16,000, 17,000, and then we crash and burn, and then we drop below the action line because it starts getting tiring, fatigue, etc. Not practical, not doable, life got in the way, and then it's going to be becoming harder and harder and harder and harder. Motivation's dropping and dropping and dropping, and as the model displays, you then drop below the action line, which then gives you the sad emojicon. So, but he was back on it, and I asked him what goal he was going to do going forward over this month, and he went, no, I'm going to do 7,000 steps. So, realistic expectations, diarising, documenting, so you can reflect back, test and adjust going forward. And if you're doing that a month at a time, then it might be too far away, because if you're off track, it's going to take you off in all sorts of directions, mind, body and soul. So you want to be reflecting weekly, really, at a minimum, fortnightly, definitely no longer than a month, tracking your stats, journaling, documenting, electronic trackers, however you work, and then using a model similar to this, keep it tight, really easy, and the two-part model. See the link to my Tiny Habits video, and then that'll go into a little bit more of this model. Check out BJ Fogg, but the bottom line is the two things we need to do to optimize chances of success on that skill, that habit, that goal we keep rechasing is number one. First thing we need to do is, according to the model, is keep it as close to easy as possible along the bottom. That's the first thing we need to do. Or if not, if you give it a go and you're up here, then try to simplify it, make it easier, sustainable, but not too easy, so we become not stimulated, we become bored, and that will lose interest, motivational drop if you're not getting stimulated. So a little bit of uncomfortableness towards it every day will help. Keeping motivation as high as possible. And the second part to it is, so keeping it easy is number one. And number two is habit stack. So what the person did, for an example, he knew the model. He just tested and adjusted. Once he got back, he used a Tiny Habits sort of thinking. And then what he did, he dropped it, made it a bit easier from the model, which then he dropped 2,000 steps off to make it more achievable. He got carried away, but he was getting parcels delivered to his house. So what he did, he got parcels delivered to the local depot or the local Amazon box or something like that, which forced him out to get the steps in. And he did a couple of other things which forced the extra steps. So he's actively thinking about it with a target of 10,000 eventually, but building it into his routine. So keeping it really easy, step one. Number two, habit stack on existing current habits. See my video on the Tiny Habits to see what I mean. I map that across onto a good sleep, exercise and hydration model, which how you can move forward using the model. So I just thought I'd share this quick short video. I hope that helps. Give it a go.